the meaning you want to give to it. So that's how to do with this document. And I can also do auto coding for this. I can do auto code. I want certain words, how many times it appears. So you can go to auto coding here. I want to look for the word administrator. Okay, so then it's going to ask me, is it in text, is it in word? I can choose, maybe I want it in expression, and then I want how many, I want it in sentence. So then I can select what other thing that you want to add to it. I can say, okay, I want administrator, I want interactive, so I can create, can match with sentence or paragraph and all this. So you confirm matches, because if you don't confirm, it will just match everything. They can say create, or you can say start. Okay, then it will start. You can see this. If you look at this side, it will start. If you want it to code this, it will code it. If you want it not to code, you just click skip. So if I click on this code it will code. It will come here again, because I have instructed it that, okay, confirm it before you code. So I can say code it. It will keep moving around. This one, I can say code it. So on and so on. So that is a quick read when you have an article and you don't have much time to. Okay, so we are done with that. Let's quickly look at Memo. That's all we can do about because of the time. We have only a few minutes, 22 minutes more. So let's see how Memo, how we can add Memo to the document. So we can actually go back here. So we can go back. These are the document. We can go back here. These are the codes. So then we look at Memo. Now for Memo, we can attribute Memo to some of the codes. Let's go to Jack. So for example, this one we highlight this. So we want a memo to be attached to this. So you can go to home, then you click on new entity. You can see a memo here. Just click on the memo, and then you can write what's the name of the memo, the name you want to give to the memo. For example, here we want to. This is memo on interaction. Sorry. Okay. And say create, then it's going to open. This is when you say talk about interaction with regards to that particular code. Then you have to write what is your reflection about the interaction? What is your reflection? I can say, okay, interaction between learner and content, instructor, okay, and then learners. It means interaction between learner and content, or instructor, or learner and learner. So this is what I want. I can just, okay, save memo. Click on save memo, then the memo is saved there. So we can go back to this. So that memo has been linked to that particular code. So if you go under memo, you can see one memo has been created. So you can go on, maybe for this one also, you want to attach memo to this same, or maybe flexibility. Let's say we want to attach memo. Just go to home, click on new entity, add. You can add on this. You can say flexibility. Okay. Any question? Any question? Any question?
No, I think we can continue. You can continue for now.
Okay, because
Okay.
I can see that
Okay,
I'm talking alone.
okay, there is a question now. There is a question because my system went off also.
Okay, what is the question?
Okay, the person says that is there a particular methodology?
Okay, what's the question?
Okay, is there a particular methodology for formulating the questions in a way that it becomes easy, more effective to code the respondent's answers
Is
after?
there any?
Is there any particular methodology for creating or
Is there
formulating
any what?
methodology? Methodology. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is a particular
Methodology.
methodology?
Yes.
Yeah, a particular methodology.
Yes, for creating or formulating equations in a way that it becomes easy or more effective to code the respondent's answer afterwards. Okay. Then it says that
Okay,
I'm
that's great.
yes.
Okay.
It says I'm conducting interview among schools to evaluate their educational system. Okay, that is the reason why it's
Okay.
asking the
Great.
question.
Great. Now, what you can do as we are here now, okay, let me quickly finish this. What you can do, you can actually link your research question with the code. You understand? You can actually link your research question with the code. Then the research question may serve as the memo for each of the code. For example, when you make this quotation, so you can actually make a memo under it that this particular quotation is related to this interview question, or this particular code is related to this interview question. You can do that. That one
Okay.
is very easy to do.
Yes.
And another one, if it was to analyze your interview or your research question, that will be done under query. And I'm not sure we will be able to do query today because I'm not even sure we can go to like group coding, and I want to look at network as well. But hopefully we will get there. But what you can do, you can actually use each of your interview question as a memo under each of the code. That will be, it will make it easy. Once you code, you just create a memo, write in that this particular code is for this, is related to this interview question, which talks about this. And that is, we are now on memo. I'm trying to explain what memo is all about. And at the end, that will even make it easy for you to link, to make a diagram, because everything will go, all those code will go under that particular interview question. And that will make it very nice. So, and let's continue with this first. I need, okay, flexible, okay, interactive, okay, and so on. So this is, then you save the code, and that's all. So you can keep on doing that. You can go to another, this person also, there are some code here, learning management system. You can create a memo to that effect to show how this can be done. So we will go to the, that is all about memo. It's just a reflection note that you attach to each code. Now you can see the way it is coming when you start qualitative, from quotation to coding, from coding to memo. You understand? The memo, that all these things will aid, it will support whatever you are, what you are saying, because it's like the code is not standing alone. There are so many interpretation or so many meaning that leads to that. So is there any question before I go? We have 15 minutes more
Yes, there is
to
question.
end this session.
Okay.
Okay.
The question says that from your interface. It said that okay, the questions from your interface are from your research questions, or you just develop from the documents. If it were,
You mean the question I'm having here?
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. It said that if it were, if you have developed research question, how many codes and coding and the documents can we analyze?
Okay, if you have a research question, for example, this is interview question 1. The one I like is interview question 1. Okay, so these interview questions will link to my research question. Maybe my research question 1, this interview question 1 is related to my research question 1. Research question 2, I mean interview question 2 is related to my research question 2, right? Now, the number of code that you are going to have is it depends on your understanding on the or the feedback given to you by your respondent, or by your participant. You can have as many as possible code. Just make sure that the code really capture the quotation. For example, if I highlight all these. You understand? So the code I'm going to give to this must really be a salient or a sort of what we call um, latent variable or latent meaning for this particular quote, because this one is a quote now. What you have seen on the screen now is a quote. So I'm going to give it a code. That code must really reflect this. If it does not, then it means the analysis is wrong from the coding point of view, and I may end up getting. But the code that I'm going to give to this particular segment must reflect it. And if you cannot make it as big as this, you can make it as small. It depends on what you are working on. So you can have as many as possible code, and you must, in terms of how many documents, your question must be the same. You look at this is Jack. Look at this question. This is the question, and this is almost the same question. If you are using semi-structured interview, if you are using unstructured interview, meaning you don't have any written interview, you just go, and that means you must have been an experienced researcher that you can recall all it, because the question there must be a kind of coherent among the respondents. So in this instance, this is a semi-structured interview question. So these are interview question. Interview question 1 for me for WOU is the same thing as for Khalid. So if I'm going to code, I will see something similar with what the first person, Mr. Jack, said and what Mr. Khalid said. And if you have something similar, you don't have to code, you just have to drag from the one you have here and drop it on it. So I hope this answered the question.
Yes, doctor. Someone asked a question here again. It's just say he wants a brief explanation of the difference between memo and coding.
Memo and coding. Okay, very
Yeah.
good. Coding. This is coding. When you have your, this is the document. When you make a quotation like this is a quotation, right? I will right click on this quotation, and then I will give it a code or a name. Okay, so that basically a name. I can say, okay, let's say LMS. Okay, if I create this is what we call coding. Now memo. Memo means for this coding, there will be some, what is my reflection? What are the understanding, or what is the meaning of this coding? If I say LMS, simply say LMS. What is LMS? Then I can use memo to explain the meaning of this code, so that when I start my analysis, I will remember. So I will just click on this, and I'll go to home, I'll go to new entity, I'll write memo. So I can say, okay, learning management. Okay, so I will create this memo. Automatically to give you a space to write your reflection. What is your reflection about this particular code? That means LMS. I will just, okay, my reflection is LMS is the university system, administrative or academic system. Okay. Okay, sorry. Okay. Or academic. Okay. System. Okay. Just something simple as that, like that. So it depends on what is the, then I will just say save this. So this memo will be saved together with this code. So whenever I'm doing my analysis, whenever I'm doing other things, then I can easily refer back. I will know, okay, this code is for this code is for this code is for this. Okay?
Yes.
I mean, this memo is for this memo is for, I mean, for this coding, this is the memo that explain that explain my reflection of that particular coding. So that is the difference is that the coding is when you get a quotation, you give it a name, and that name that you have given is a code. Memo is the explanation or reflection of the researcher on a particular code. Okay.
Yes, doctor. Then just addition on that, someone now asks, what's the relationship with the memo and team? Memo and team.
Okay, now now Memo will explain code. Code will come together to form a theme. So it's like from quotation you have a code. I mean, you have a code. The code will come together to form a theme. So from the micro, at the very very low level, you have a memo explaining your coding, and coding coming together to form a team. So definitely, if you see a team and you see a code, when you read the memo under it, then you know, oh, this is what this code means. So definitely you will understand what the team means. So it is all together. So if we go to network, you will see how all these things links together. You will see the memo, you will see something like a team, and then you will see the code for that. So it's very, very related. Your memo will actually go a long way to explain what your code and what your team actually stand for.
Okay, then another
Any other
question says that,
question?
yes, it says that, please sir, is there any limit for video and photo size to be coded? Is there any limit? I think he's talking about size here, size limit.
Okay. Well, there is no actually for this MPV. It depends. The limit will depends on what you want to code in a video. You know, when you have a video now, it's not all the video maybe you want. Some of the video you don't want it. So the portion that you want is what you are going to code. So there is no specific limit that we can give. It depends on the researcher. So in the picture also, you have a big picture. It may not be the whole picture that you need. Maybe certain part of the picture that you need. So that is what I can. There is no specific limit to it. That will be that is subject to the researcher's discretion. What he or she wants to get from that video or from that picture.
Yes, Prof. Then another, the last question says that, what's the reason you made two coding for one sentence? Why would you make two coding for one, maybe quotations? That's what he's asking here.
Yeah. Now, when you have one sentence, that sentence will speak. You know, it may not. You may not have single meaning, one meaning, and that is one of the reason. I mean, one of the explanation I made earlier for you with related to the underpinning philosophy of qualitative research. So you may have one thing and then it may have several. It doesn't. That one is not a problem in qualitative because it's the text, and when you read the text, if one word it cannot capture the meaning there, then you can have two, you can have three for the same sentence. So far, these are underpinning meaning that you can see when you look at that sentence or when you look at that picture. So
Yes, I think we can continue now. They are all
you
clear,
should remember
doctor.
that you don't just put any code there. Okay, so
Yeah.
now we don't have much time. So I've done memo, I've done coding. So maybe we look at how do we from all this. So how am I going to get the result? So now we have done coding. So for the coding, basically we can go to you can export your code. You can export your code. To get the So in that sense, you go to home. So here we want to get our report because from Atlas T you can generate your. So here you have to come to Code Manager. So under Code Manager, these are the things that you can do. You just click here, so you will see either you want to put the code in groups or you want to make. Now for someone that asks about team, the next thing after coding is to group the coding. So let me quickly go show this how you do this. So these are the code that we have done so far. These are the codes. So now, for example, I want to what we can do. I want to group all this code into a family or a parent code. So known as category. You remember I mentioned about categorization after code. Now that's what we are going to do now. So I will just I may say okay. This communication, flexibility, interactive elements, and this all these just click on this. All this you can drag them to your left hand side. You can see a column there, group. Just drag everything here. Excuse me. So this here you click. So, okay, it's this one. So now this is the group coding. Now I will give it a name. What is the name that am I going to give to this? Because now I'm combining several codes. I'm going to give them a name. So I can say this one is communication practices. Okay, I'll create that, and this one will appear here. This communication practices has five codes. So I can say, okay, these two, this one and this one, I will drag it again. I can say, okay, communication tools. Okay, now I have two. I have all this code, this 5 code or 7 code. I have collapsed them into 2. Okay, I have collapsed this 5 into 2. So if you click on this one, you can actually add a comment. For each of these, you can have a comment here. You can write or whatever be the comment that you want to put there. You can write comment for each of these, so that whenever whatever you do, and when you do this, it will show how many codes there. So if you like to write a comment, you can write comment for each of these. Now I will quickly, this is how to do categorization. Now I've shown how to do categorization. So in relation to this, what we will do now, so we can then try to, maybe you want to export or you want to generate the report, this can be done. So let's see how do we generate report for these two. So we have done this. Now we want to generate a report. So we go back here, so we can click on these codes. So here, this is these are the codes that we have, and these are the subcodes. I mean, these are the group codes. These are the, so we can ask Atlas T to generate reports for all this. So we can, you just click on this. As you see, you go to home. After home, you go to code manager, and from code manager you go to reports. You click on this, then it will tell you which kind of is it group code, is it how do you want the reports to be. I can say I want it on group codes. Okay, so I want comment to be there, and I want code to be there. I want where is the memo? I want memo also, all the memos for each of the codes, I want it to be there. So now you can click create report. When you click create reports, so Atlas T will generate the report for you. Now you want to, you tell you the first code, communication practices. These are the code. It has this code. These are the quotation. This is from the document that you get it from. This is the exact code. So I've only done for the communication practices, because I want report based on code group. Okay, and this one can be saved. You can click on save here. So if you have a lot of code under this, it will show all the reports for this particular category of code. Okay, so you can do for this as well. If you want reports, click on this. Then if you don't want, if you said none, then it's going to generate all the report for you, all to be many. Then you can click it to generate all this, including the picture. This one is for distance education. So this is the codes on social media. This is the code on student center. It will show all this, and then you can save this and you can use it in your research. So that is that, because we don't have many codes here, and then we don't really do many of the quotations. So the time is 1 minute past 4 now. I think I'm going to stop now, because the time I'm supposed to end the the workshop is 4 o'clock. So I hope you have been able to get one or two things. I pray that this will be beneficial for everyone. If there is question, maybe one or two questions we can accommodate.
Okay, thank you very much once again, our facilitator. May Allah reward you abundantly. Without wasting much of our time, I will ask again. We would like to ask again if there is any question before we round it up. Okay, since it has been an interactive session, yeah, we may not have any question. Thank you very much, Doctor, once again. Without wasting much of our time, I would like to hand over to the association president if he has maybe one or two words for us.
All right, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Welcome, sir.
Firstly, I'd like to thank our prof for this wonderful presentation. It's really been interesting for your training. Wallahi, we really appreciate it. I wish we have more of your time. I hope we can have a second section, inshallah. Hopefully, maybe when next we'll have the practical section, inshallah. Because what you have actually introduced us to this Atlas B, really appreciate your time, sir. We Almighty Allah continue to be with you. We also thank the participants for their
Thank you.
cooperation. We thank you because without you, we will not be here. May Almighty Allah make the knowledge beneficial for us. We also thank the moderator, that is Mr. Mahfouz. May Almighty Allah continue to be with you. Hopefully, as I've said, inshallah, we'll try to work with our prof if it's going to be a physical section, to have a full day of a practical section with him. Hopefully, inshallah, whatever it is, will let us know. However, in the meantime, we also have another workshop coming up next week. That is NVivo. The poster will be out soon, as inshallah, we will implore us also join us for that particular workshop. So, Your Almighty Allah be with us and accept our effort, inshallah. All right, Assalamu alaikum.
I think with this, Alhamdulillah, we've come to the end of the session. Let's end the session with Surat Al-Asr.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal asri innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilus solihati wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr.
فسبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much, Dr.
Assalamu alaikum.
Bakare. Wa alaikum assalam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.